Welcome back, students. Good morning. I am Mrs. SITHARA, your social science teacher. And in today's session, we are going to learn Unit 2 in History, Towards History, Part 3. Before we move on to the details of the lesson, let us have a recap of what we have learned. Early human ate whatever they got, drank water from natural sources, and led a nomadic life. Now, nomadic life is a life where people move from one place to another in search of food and shelter. Stone Age is classified into three: Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, and New Stone Age. Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, and New Stone Age. In the New Stone Age, they used clothes, torches, tools, and weapons. Children, what are the things they used in New Stone Age? Clothes, torches, tools, and weapons. Stone wheels were the first scientific invention. What was his first scientific invention? Stone wheels. With that introduction, we move on to today's topic, which is pottery. Do you know what is pottery, my dears? Yes. Pottery is the process as well as the products of forming vessels and other objects using clay, which are fired or burned at high temperature to give them strength. After wheel, pottery was also one of the greatest inventions by human. Stone Age people made all the household artifacts. Artifacts means the articles made by humans by themselves. Spell the word artifacts. A-R-T-I-F-A-C-T-S. Artifacts. Once more. A-R-T-I-F-A-C-T-S. Artifacts. Stone Age people made all the household artifacts by themselves. You know, we had invention of the wheel, and when they invented wheel, after certain years, they understood that if you spin clay on the wheel, you can make it into different shapes. That is how pottery was invented. Once they started doing the potter's wheel and pottery on potter's wheel, all the household articles could be made by themselves. In the picture, can you see a house made of stones? Completely made of stones. Yes, they are called as stone houses. Stone houses were built. And you can see the roofs of these houses were thatched with sticks and husks. Dear children, you would have heard of kuduse or you would have seen kuduse. Same way, the roofs of these houses were thatched, were made out of stick and husk. After this, several inventions were made and human started living a settled life. From nomadic life, from wandering from place to place, people started living in a single place by building houses and having a settled life. Did you know, children, what is called as a historical period? The period which has written documents are called historical period. What are called as historical period? The period which has written documents. Written documents are called as historical period. And what is the use of all these documents? These documents help us to know about the lifestyle of the people, events, their food habits, culture, art, architecture, literature, etc. So, the period which has written documents are called historical period, and these documents which were written or which were inscribed on stones help us to know what all things we'll know from that. The lifestyle of the people, how the people lived, What were the events that had happened? What were the special occasion, celebration, or any calamities? Whatever food they ate, what was their culture? What was the art? Architecture, how they built the house, how they constructed their settlement. Literature, what were their writings or how they expressed their thought. All these things we understand from these written documents. Dear children, can you see the picture there? Can you say what is the activity that is going on? Very correct. That is agriculture. So, agriculture was an important activity in the history of human. They started cultivating crops. People started growing different crops. They found it convenient to live along the river as crops grew well near the river. They understood that along the river was the best place to grow crops because crops grew well there. What do you think will be the reason crops grew well near the riverbeds? Yes, that is right, the availability of water. Burial pots called urns. Spell the word U-R-N-S, urns. U-R-N-S, urns. Urns or burial pots have been excavated in which dead bodies were placed and buried under the ground. Under the ground, they were having pots which are called as urns, big pots in which dead bodies were placed. People used to place the dead bodies like we do cremation. We burn the body, isn't it? Same way, dead bodies were placed in urns and buried under the ground. Do you see the picture there, my dear children? You can see monkey and the growth of monkey into the human being. Not growth, the evolution, the changing of the monkey to human being. You know, children, it was 20 lakh years ago that man started walking straight. Before 20 lakh years, only man started walking straight. Around 3 lakh years ago, he spread all over the earth. You could find human beings all around the earth around 3 lakh years ago. And he started cultivating. He cultivated around 8,000 years ago. So they were living a nomadic life, then they started a settled life, then they started the cultivation. That was around 8,000 years ago. Since then, civilization started around 300 years ago. Civilization means Nagarigam. A civilization is a society which has its own highly developed culture and way of life. Now, people who are having their own way of life and a separate life is called as a civilization. So, my dear children, 20 lakh years ago, men started walking straight. 3 lakh years ago, he started spreading all over the world. And he started cultivation around 8,000 years. Children, around 8,000 years ago, the people started living a settled life and started cultivation. After that, around 300 years ago, they got settled and had a separate lifestyle, and that was called as civilizations. Now we will see what were the changes in a man's life. You can see man, he turned into a family with a husband, wife and children. Then family became society, a group of people or group of families living together. And the society became a group, and later that group had an administration. Okay, so you can see a man, a single man, he is getting settled and living a family life with a husband, wife and children. And from those families, many families grouped together to become a society. And the society became a big group, and their group had to have an administrator, a ruler. And that is how man's life changed from a single individual to a group which had an administration. In this picture, you can see the different earthenware. Earthenware are the vessels that are made out of mud. And metals. You can see the metal vessels used in the Stone Age. In the picture, you can find some metal instruments. Okay. At the end of New Stone Age, copper, a metal, was invented. And in this age, both stone and copper were used. This period was called as Chalcolithic Age. What is the word? Chalcolithic. Spell it with me. Chalcolithic. Chalcolithic. I repeat. Chalcolithic. Chalcolithic age. The age or the period in which both stone and copper, the metal they used was copper. That was the first metal to be used by human beings. Copper, stone and copper were used. That period was known as Chalcolithic age. The word Chalcolithic is derived from chalco, which is a Greek word for copper. Chalco and lithic is stone. So it is called as Copper Stone Age. The word Chalcolithic is derived from the Greek words chalco, meaning copper, and lithos, meaning stone. Next we move on to the next age called as a Bronze Age. What is the age? Bronze Age. Now, what is bronze? Bronze was produced when copper, zinc and tin were mixed together. You got bronze when you mixed the three metals, copper, zinc and tin. Spell it by B-R-O-N-Z-E, bronze. B-R-O-N-Z-E, bronze. Copper, C-O-P-P-E-R, copper. C-O-P-P-E-R, copper. Z-I-N-C, zinc. Z-I-N-C, zinc. Tin, you know the spelling of tin, T-I-N. So when they mixed these metals, copper, zinc and tin, they got bronze. And bronze was a little bit durable. It was a little bit harder than that of pure copper. The period when people made tools from an alloy called bronze was called as the Bronze Age. So people made tools from an alloy called bronze. That age is called as a Bronze Age. An alloy is a mixture that is obtained by mixing different metals and other elements. So they got bronze by mixing copper, zinc and tin, and that period when they use an alloy called as bronze, it is called as a Bronze Age. Next we move on to the Iron Age. Humans found iron, I-R-O-N, iron, and started using iron tools and weapons. This age was called Iron Age. The age where the people started using iron for making tools and weapons is called as the Iron Age. In this age, household articles, agricultural tools, etc. were made of iron. So the people they used whatever the things that are they're using in the house and whatever things they are using for cultivation or agriculture were made of iron. Such an era, such an age is called as the Iron Age. Metals were alloyed and tools were made. Metals were mixed depending on their strength. To increase their strength and durability, they were made into alloys, and using those alloys, tools were made. Dear children, let us have a recap of what we learned. After wheel, pottery was also one of the greatest inventions. People started, after their led nomadic life, people started building stone houses. After the several inventions were made and they started living a settled life. The period which has written documents are called as historical period. Very good. And they started cultivating crops. They started growing crops. And they found it convenient to live along the river. That means they were easy to live along the river because there was plenty of water. And burial pots called urns or big pots have been excavated. Now we also saw the changes men had to undergo. Men started as a single individual, as a single person. He became a family, and many families became a society. A group of societies, different societies formed a group, and the group had to have an administrator. We saw Chalcolithic age. You saw Chalcolithic age meaning copper age. Okay, Chalcos, lithic, or Greek words meaning copper and stone. Then we saw Bronze Age, where people started making tools made of an alloy. Bronze is made by an alloy of mixing copper, zinc and tin. That age we call as the Bronze Age. Then people started finding the use of iron, and they started using iron tools and weapons. Then it was called, that age was called as the Iron Age. My dear children, so with this we come to the end of today's session. In the next class we will deal with the archaeological excavation and the museum. Activity time. This is a second activity for you. You have to tell the names of some iron tools found at your home. A few are given for you. Sickle, spade. Tell the names of some iron tools found at your home. Ask your parents what are the tools that are made of iron at your home, and you write the names of that in pencil in your book. If this is a book activity, you can write this in the textbook itself. After writing it, take a photocopy, take a snap of that and send it to my WhatsApp number. My dear children, you can watch this video a number of times and you understand the concepts, learn the spellings, pause the video and watch it, write it down and learn. Next is activity 3, also given in your book. Some pictures are given. You can find some pictures are given and I want you to write the age which was used. The answer is given at the last. You can see what are the things they are using and you can give me the answer. You can copy the spellings from that and write the activity. This is also book exercise. You have to complete in the textbook. Take a snap and then send to my WhatsApp number. With this, we come to the end of today's session. I hope you all understood what I have taught you in this lesson so far. Stay happy, children, and stay safe. Stay blessed. Thank you.